Hey everybody, this is Lance Ball, and I wanted to share with you today some stuff that I've been working on. I've been working on proof of concept for function as a service implemented on Kubernetes on top of Knative Serving, Knative Eventing, and Tekton pipelines. And we've made some progress, so I thought it was time to share a little bit about what we've done. In order to get this going, we need to deploy or apply a bunch of resources to our cluster. This is implemented as a runtime image, which I'm not showing, but we'll see the end result of it, and an operator with a custom resource called JSFunction. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. Actually, first let's go ahead and deploy everything. So we can just run deploy/deploy.sh, and that'll deploy it all. And while that's happening, we can look at some of these resources. So let's just look at the FaaS JSFunction resource. So you can see the kind is JSFunction. It's in the API version faas.redhat.com/v1alpha1. There are three properties that you can add to the function specification. You can specify whether or not you would like to have events sent to your function, and these are events from Knative Eventing. When your function is applied on your cluster, a Knative event channel for you will be created with the same name as the name of your function. So in this case, testfunc. Then you can optionally have a package property, and this is basically just a snippet from a package.json file. The main thing that we really consider here is that we do an npm install when we build the runtime image. If you have dependencies, you can specify those in your package.json. And then finally, we have an inline function. In this function, it's not doing a whole lot, but the first thing is we're requiring this isNumber module just to make sure that dependencies work. And then we export a function that takes a context. I've got a return value here. This is the test function for Node.js FaaS success. And then I use the isNumber module just to make sure things are working there. And then if we receive a cloud event, then I spit out something to the console that we received a cloud event. And then I can take a look at the build. So, I mentioned that actually, let's go ahead and deploy this thing first and then start looking at it, because it takes a while for things to happen. So kubectl apply -f. All right, so we're going to deploy this JS function. And if we do kubectl get pods, we see now we have a build runtime pod happening. That build runtime is running a Knative pipeline that consists of a couple of tasks. The first task that runs is JSFunction build runtime, which we just saw. And what that does is, well, the first thing that happens in the operator is your source is copied to a config map, and I'll show that in a little bit. And then the config map source is copied over to a temporary volume into a directory home node user on an image, basically just an Alpine image, a very small little image. And then we use this image OCF/JS runtime, which is part of this project. It's a small little JavaScript runtime engine. And we use S2I to create a Docker file for that. And then ultimately we use builda to build the container image and then push it to the internal registry. That's the main task that runs. Then, so when your JS function is applied initially, one of the first things that happens is a Knative service is created to run that, basically to run this the resulting image from this this build here. And so then once the build has completed, we have to update the Knative service. So that's the second task in our pipeline, updating the service with the new version of the function build. And so there's our pipeline there. Okay, I'm pretty sure this has all run already. kubectl get pods. Let's see what's going on. Let's make this big. So, yep, it looks like our build has completed. The build runtime has completed, and update service has completed. And we should have here we are, here's our deployment. So I can do kubectl logs -f. So a pod is created for you within the Knative service that runs the container Node.js testfunc, and that's the container that basically just gets built as part of the build that we just saw. And so we can look at the logs for that. Maybe. How about, let's look at the service. There's our service. And I should be able to curl this. And yes, I see the result. I'm not seeing the logs here. Let's just put that in the background, and eventually we might see something. Okay, so now what happens if I want to update my function? Right, my function, I need to be more enthusiastic about my hello world, so I'm going to run kubectl edit and go down here, and I'm just going to put a bunch of exclamation points just to see the change. Okay, and so now we should see a new, we see a new build runtime job getting kicked off. So the image is being rebuilt. Once that runs, well, that will take a few minutes. Let's look at the config map while we're waiting for that to happen. So the config map is created with the same name as the function. In our case, the function was named testfunc. And we can see here that we've got the data for our config map as index.js, and that's the function. And then we've got the package.json that was included in our JS function type here. And then the creation timestamp, etc. Let's look at the pods. Okay, our build has completed. Now the service is updating, so we should be able to curl it, and we see the period. Eventually that service is going to be updated. There we go. So updated in real time. Took about a minute, I guess, something like that. So that's what we have so far. I'm looking forward to adding a lot of cool functionality to this, additional bindings with middleware products, etc. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. You can hit me up at lball@redhat.com. Thanks.